Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone to this another session of Bhagavad Gita reading. Every week we meet together to read the Bhagavad Gita shloka by shloka, and today we are going to do the same. Uh, I'm a little preoccupied on my personal front actually, so I'm not getting enough time this week. So, we'll be covering only one shloka this week, and maybe we can try to cover a few more from the next week onwards, if time permits. So, yes. Without further delay, let me just chant a few pranam mantras to invoke auspiciousness. And after that, we will continue with the next sloka, which is sloka number 15th of the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So those who know can repeat after me while staying on mute, while others, those who don't know, can just listen very intently, because listening is also very, very purifying. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरि यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Okay, so we will continue with verse number 15th of the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the Karma Yoga. And we were discussing the Karma Kanda section, right? So we'll continue with that today. Verse number 15. We'll see what it has in store for us. So before we jump onto the shloka, let's do a quick recap and try to understand where we stand as of now. So in the beginning of this chapter, the first two shlokas, we saw that Arjun was having a lot of questions in his mind. He had questions actually. Okay, what should I do? Should I fight or should I not fight? Should I renounce? Okay, and he was completely confused. Okay, and after listening to Arjuna's doubts, after hearing those questions, actually Krishna understood that a very elaborate description is required. Okay, in order to make him understand, and keeping that in mind, Krishna started with what is known as the Nishkam Karma Yoga. Okay, he started giving very elaborate descriptions on the Nishkam Karma Yoga. And we see that from the verse number 3 to 9 or 10, like Krishna is speaking about the Nishkam Karma Yoga. Okay, and in Nishkam Karma Yoga, like what was the teaching in the nutshell? That okay, you work, okay, but don't get attached to the results of that work. Don't get attached to the fruits of your actions. Okay? So when Arjun heard this, he was even more confused, because just like all of us at that time, like he was not able to comprehend that how is this possible, that if I'm working, I work for something, some outcome. Okay, some outcome has to be there, and I am actually hankering for that outcome. Okay, so that I can enjoy the fruits of my actions. But here Krishna is saying that okay, you work, but you do not be attached to the fruits of the results. Okay, the results are in my hands, so you don't need to worry about that. So this was a little difficult for Arjun to comprehend, and Krishna again understood that, okay, he is not at that level right now, so let me lower down the bar. Okay, let me lower the bar, and maybe it is easier for people to understand in that way. Okay, कि ऐसा बाउंसर भी नहीं डालते हैं, ऐसे बॉलिंग करो जैसे कि बैट्समैन खेल सके, right? Kind of that. So he brought down the bar, and then from the verse number 10 to verse number 16, what Krishna is talking about is the Karma Kanda section. Okay, and that is what we are going through right now. So, what is Karma Kanda? That a person is very much attached to the fruits of the actions. Okay? They want to enjoy the results, they want to enjoy the fruits of what they are doing, but they do it according to the Vedic injunctions. Okay, they do it according to the Shastras, what is given in the Shastras. Okay, and by doing that, slowly they are elevated up the yoga ladder. Okay, from Karma Kanda to Nishkam Karma Yoga or the Karma Yoga, from Karma Yoga to Dhyana Yoga, and from Dhyana Yoga to Jnana Yoga, which is the bhakti of Lord Sri Krishna. Okay, so this is what we have seen so far. Okay, now in the verse number 15, we will see what is there. Okay, let's read the verse and the translation, and then we'll try to go, like step by step. We will try to see what Krishna is trying to explain here. Okay, so let me share my screen. So Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 3, verse number 15, it goes like this. कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्म अक्षर समुद्भवम् तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम् कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्माक्षर समुद्भवम् तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्. Okay. So we'll come to the translations a little later. Let's first try to analyze. Lot of keywords are there in this particular verse, so we'll try to first understand that, and then we will read the translations also. Okay. So first thing. Thank you, sir. The share. Let me share again. I'll share once we go with the translation. Right. So in this particular verse, there are a lot of keywords, as I said, and first one is karma brahmodbhavam. Okay, what does karma brahmodbhavam means? That means the regulated duties or the prescribed duties are basically produced or manifest by Brahma. Now, Brahma in this case is not Lord Brahma, who is the secondary creator. Okay, Brahma means the Vedas. It is another name for Vedas. Okay, Brahma. And then second keyword is Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam. Okay, from where the Vedas come from? Akshara. Okay, Brahma Akshara. So Akshara. And what is Akshara? Akshara is another name of Lord Sri Krishna. Right? So Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam. And Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma. Well, since these Vedas are emanating from Lord Sri Krishna, therefore they are all pervading and transcendental. They are beyond this material world. Okay? So they are spiritual in nature, transcendental, right? Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma. And Nityam Yagye Pratishtitam, that is eternally situated in the acts of sacrifice. So let's read the translation, and then now that we know the meaning of these keywords, I think it will make more sense. So let me share my screen. We'll read the translation, and then we'll go to the explanation of this verse. So the translation is regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in the acts of sacrifice. That means sacrifice are of utmost importance. Okay, why? Because Vedas are telling us so. And from where does Veda come? And where does Vedas come from? Vedas come from none other than Lord Sri Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. So let's try to analyze this verse. Let's try to understand what Srila Prabhupada is trying to explain in the purport. And by the way, all the viewers who are actually, very interested and who have been regularly watching these sessions over and over again, it's my humble request to all of them that please go back and read the chapter or read the shloka and the purport. Okay, what we are doing here is we are giving a summarized account of this particular shloka. The purports are even more elaborate. Okay, and very nicely written by none other than A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so let's understand this verse. What is given here? Okay, so in the previous shloka, verse number 14, we saw that there was a flow chart, a kind of a flow chart was given. Okay, let's recall what was given in the last shloka. What was the shloka? Annad bhavanti bhutani. Okay, parjanyad anna sambhava, yagyad bhavati parjanyo, yagya karma samudbhava. Okay, like this was the shloka number 14, and the flow chart which was given was that all the living entities, they subsist on the food grains. Okay, we had seen in detail in the previous verse that how the food grains form the basis of all the living entities, or the life of all the living entities. All the herbivores or the vegetarian living entities, they directly consume the food grains basically. Okay, and those who are meat eaters, they consume the bodies of the living entities who in turn subside on, thrive on the food grains basically. Okay, so food grains are the basis of life basically, and this is what is mentioned in the 14th verse, that all the living entities subsist on the food grains. And where do food grains come from? They need rains, right? And where do rains come from? So this is a flow chart that is going, right? So where the rains come from? Rains are coming from the yagyas, or the sacrifices that we perform. Right? We saw that by performance of these sacrifices, Lord Sri Krishna is very satisfied. Okay, and when he is satisfied, all the demigods or devis and devtas who are different parts of his body, they are also satisfied. And under his direction, all these devis and devtas, they provide us the necessities of life. Okay, and where do yajna come from? Okay, yajna comes from the prescribed duties, right? This is what we saw. So this is a downward flow chart that we see. In verse number 15, in this current shloka, we will see the upward flow chart, that it will just trace us back to the source. Okay, so we'll try to understand that. So what is being said in the translation here? That the prescribed duties are coming from where? Prescribed duties are coming from the Vedas. Okay, Brahma. Okay, and the Vedas are coming from whom? Akshara, right? That means the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you see, it is tracing us back to the source. So now we have a complete flow chart for verse number 14 and verse number 15. I think now you can join the dots and you can come to the complete flow. Okay, that's starting with Sri Krishna and ending with us, the living entities, right? So, and in between, like from between Krishna and us, like Lord Sri Krishna gives us the step-by-step explanation of that, how the living entities are dependent on Lord Sri Krishna. Okay. So now let us try to, now that we have this idea of the flow chart, starting right from the source, which is none other than Lord Sri Krishna, we will try now to understand one by one the various aspects of the Vedic scriptures. Okay. That, what are the Vedic scriptures? What uh, are the main teachings, basically, which we can take away? So, if all of us can recall in the verse number 9, okay, when of the third chapter itself, okay, what did it say? I mean, can anyone recall? Those who can recall, just even type your answers in the comment section, okay, and let me know. But I'll read the verse for you. It was something like यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणो अन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्म बंधनः तदर्थम कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्त संग समाचर. Right? So the translation of that verse was, let me bring it up. I'll try to read it out for all of you. Work done as a sacrifice for Lord Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage. Okay. So this is what Lord Sri Krishna is saying in verse number 9. Okay, that if you want to perform any yajna or if you want to perform any sacrifice, do it for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. Okay, and if you don't do that, then you will get entangled in this material world completely, and it will be very, very difficult for you to come out of it. Okay, lifetime after lifetime you will be wasting here, just uh, carrying out some mundane activities here in the material world. Okay, yajna is supposed to be done for satisfaction of Sri Krishna or Vishnu. That is the essence of verse number 9. Now the question is that how to do yajna? Okay, how will I get to know this? And how to do yajna? What is the procedure, etc. All these things, like it has to be told to us, right? It has to be somewhere, right? So that people can do that. And what is the basis? And what is the basic? What is first of all basically yajna? And how will I understand? Okay, that what is it? These elaborate descriptions should have to be given by someone, or it has to be there somewhere. Okay, otherwise it will be very difficult for people of this material world to perform the sacrifices to satisfy Lord Vishnu. Correct. So we will try to understand the purport. uh, Gives us the answer. Srila Prabhupada gives us the answer. Okay, so here it is. If we have to work for the satisfaction of the Yajna Purusha Vishnu, then we must find out the direction of the work in Brahman or transcendental Vedas. Okay, so Vedas, as we know, are also known as the Brahma, and we have to look at the Vedas basically. Okay, Vedas are therefore codes of working direction. Okay, so how to live your life, what to do, what not to do, all these things have been clearly explained in the Vedas, and therefore, it has all the information that how to perform the yajna. And from the Vedas we will come to know this. Okay, what are the procedures? Okay, what is a yajna in first place? Okay, all these things. So from Vedic scriptures we actually get to know what these yajnas are and what these yajnas are all about. Okay, and how to perform them. Okay, so Vedas are giving us directions to work, how to live our life. So this is what we see in the purport here. Okay, and if we suppose so we know that, okay, from Vedas we come to know like what the yajnas are, how to perform those yajnas, and how to live our lives basically. Okay, what if someone doesn't follow the instructions of the Vedas? Okay, what happens to such people? Again, it is written here. We'll read. Anything performed without direction of the Vedas is called vikarma, or unauthorized or sinful work. Okay, so basically, if we are not following the instructions of the Vedas, if we are performing any work whimsically, okay, we are creating our own work basically, and we are trying to perform that. It is known as vikarma or sinful work basically, and we are incurring sinful reactions. Okay, so people see always they try to find an excuse of not following the instructions of the Vedas. Why? Because people in general, they don't want to be bound by rules and regulations. Okay, when we try to follow the Vedas, we have to abide by certain rules and regulations that have been laid down. Okay, like they are the life manual basically. So people don't want that these days. Okay, and most often not having enough time is the best excuse which people can find, and they always give the time kahan hai abhi, kiske paas hai time, right? To study all the Vedas and what are the Vedic injunctions, right? And some even ask like, what is the need to even know or understand what is written in the Vedas? कि क्या ही फर्क पड़ रहा है, right? I am living my life and I am happy. So why should I even bother about what is written in the Vedas, right? So here is the answer. Because if we don't follow the Vedas, we are, incurring sinful reactions, because any work done against the scriptural injunctions is sinful. Okay, so therefore, yes, there is a great need, okay, to understand the Vedas, to read the Vedas. Okay, because of the two main reasons. One, we are not that intelligent enough to understand what is right and what is wrong. This is very important thing to understand. Okay, you know, people, they do their masters, they do their PhDs, engineering, MBA, and we are so puffed up, with our material degrees. Okay, and we think that, oh, we are so intelligent. Okay, I am I am graduated from an IIT. I have graduated from IIM. So I mean, I'm really really intelligent person. Okay, so this is the kind of mindset that we have. Okay, but we have to understand that human beings are not at that level of intelligence, okay, where we can clearly distinguish between what is right and what is wrong. Okay, and even a small amount of freedom, okay, if we get, and if we get certain amount of resources, then we start living our lives whimsically. Okay, we simply do not care, about right and wrong, and what should be done, what not should be done. Okay, we simply want to enjoy, and we just try to enjoy. And this has been very evident of late. And a very good example which I can cite right now, was a very recent controversy that came up, around a well-known podcaster, right? And on a, this all happened on a show of a very well-known comedian. Okay, I think most of you. I'm not going to take any names here, but I think most of you know and understand which show I'm referring to and which person I'm referring to. Okay, that person tried to crack a joke which was in fact very vulgar. It shouldn't have been said, on a public platform. Okay, and all this was done, according to them, in the spirit of freedom of speech. And this so-called freedom of speech has done more damage than good actually in our society. Okay, especially off late. So this is a classic example that proves that we are not intelligent enough to decide what is right and what is wrong. Okay, so in the name of freedom, we simply try to live, we simply try to speak, we simply try to eat according to our own will, without caring about the repercussions. Okay, and that we already, just we have just now seen that if we try to live our life like this, which is against the Vedic injunctions, then such actions are sinful. We are incurring sinful reactions. Yes. So this is the first reason, that human beings are not intelligent to discriminate between what is right and what is wrong. Second reason, because everything is relative. Okay, it's very difficult to find a perfect standard. I'll try to explain. Okay, relative in the sense that from individual to individual, things can vary. Say, for example, something may appear right for me, may not sound very right for someone else. Okay, and similarly the other way around. If someone else is saying, okay, this thing is right, it may not seem right to me. Okay, very good example which I can cite here is that of a drunkard. Okay, say a drunkard who is habituated uh, uh, to consuming alcohol and getting high on that. Such a person will feel that, okay, there is nothing beyond this. I mean, this is the ultimate pleasure, this is the ultimate bliss. You just simply drink a glass of wine, a few glasses of wine, and you are high. Okay, and then you are enjoying in that mood, you are partying in that mood. So for that person, you know drinking and getting high, because of that drink, is the ultimate bliss. But whereas for someone who is a little sober, someone who is living a life according to Brahmanical standards, for such a person, even touching an alcoholic drink is a sin, basically. Let alone drinking it and getting high on that, right? So we see that the standards, they actually vary from person to person. Okay, for one person, drinking is very good; it is a source of ultimate bliss. Whereas for other person, even thinking about drinking is a sin, right? So there's no question of consuming that drink. Okay, so when there is so much of disparity, okay, where everything is so relative, okay, then where is the benchmark? What is the benchmark? Okay, so the Vedas, the scriptures are the benchmark. Okay, so reading the Vedic scriptures is therefore very very important, and this point has to be understood. Okay, I mean, you cannot do away without reading the Vedic scriptures, and there is no other alternative actually. Okay, so, because those who read the Vedic scriptures, and especially the Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of all the Vedic scriptures, okay, they will have a clear understanding of what is right and what is wrong, and what is karma or work done according to the Vedic scriptures, and what is vikarma or the sinful actions, basically, or sinful work. Okay, So let's try to understand further what is the why so much importance is basically given to the Vedic scriptures. Okay, and we'll try to read from the purport again. Such directions in the Vedas are directly manifested from breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so it's like really difficult to understand, right? Can we speak through breathing process? Not possible for humans, right? We humans can't, but Lord Sri Krishna can. Okay, because being the complete absolute, each of the senses of Lord Sri Krishna is capable of performing the function of all the other senses. Okay, he can speak through his breathing process. Okay, he can eat with his eyes, and I mean these things are pretty inconceivable for humans. Okay, but for devotees, it is not that difficult. Why? Because devotees, they understand the absolute nature of Sri Krishna. Okay, and this has been confirmed in the scriptures also. So in the third word, Lord Srila Prabhupada is basically quoting from the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. Okay, and he's quoting a shloka which is clearly mentioning that all the Vedas have emanated from the breath of Lord Sri Krishna. Okay, and I'm going to read this shloka. Although please forgive me for my recitation because I'm horrible at reading, Sanskrit in English alphabets. Okay, but I'll try to do that. Okay, so it says here, "Tasya mahato bhutasya निश्वासितम् एतद्यद् ऋग्वेदो यजुर्वेदः सामवेदो अथर्वं गिरसः." Okay, that means all the four Vedas, namely the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, and Athar Veda, are all emanations from the breathing of the great personality of Godhead. Okay, so we can clearly understand that it's everything is possible for Lord Sri Krishna. Okay? He can speak while he's breathing. Through his breathing, he can also speak, and this has also been confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Okay, that every sense of Sri Krishna is capable enough to perform the functions of all the other sense organs of Sri Krishna. Okay, so in the Brahma Samhita, again, we'll read from the purport what it is written. It is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita that Lord has the omnipotence to perform through each of his senses and the actions of all the other senses. Okay. In other words, the Lord can speak through his breathing and he can impregnate by his eyes. Okay. Yes. In fact, it is said that he glanced over the material nature and thus fathered all the living entities. Yes. So actually, further in the Bhagavad Gita, we'll come to know where Krishna has confirmed this himself in the Bhagavad Gita as well. He says, Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya Aham Bij Pradapita. Okay. That for all the living beings, O Arjuna, I am the seed giving father. Okay. So we can see, and in the Brahma Samhita, it has been confirmed that by merely glancing towards the material nature, he has impregnated the material nature with all of us, all the living entities. Okay, so every sense organ of Lord Sri Krishna is capable of performing the functions of all the other sense organs, right? Because he is the complete absolute. Okay, this is one thing. Now another question arises that here we see that just by breathing, Lord Sri Krishna is speaking. So what is he speaking? He is giving us the four Vedas. Okay. Again, we'll read from the purport. Yeah, we have already seen that, I think. Yeah, that shloka, basically. Okay. So he's reading. And why does Lord Sri Krishna give us these scriptures? Because Krishna has created the material world for us. Okay. If you can recall, in the previous sessions, we discussed that we wanted to enjoy separately from him. Okay, we want to enjoy separately from Krishna. Okay, oh Krishna, we don't want you in our lives. Okay, this was our attitude. And being very merciful, Krishna actually created this material world for us. Okay, and he sent us there. Okay, if you want to enjoy, go and enjoy. Okay, and he gave us the Vedas to understand how we can live our lives properly. Okay, because um, we need to understand certain things. I'll discuss first. Let's read from the purport, okay, and then I can elaborate on that. We should always remember that conditioned souls in the material nature are eager for material enjoyment. Okay, so always we are trying to enjoy. Okay, any living entity you take, okay, any one, any person you take, or any living entity, even non-humans, they just simply want to enjoy. Okay, because they want to become the master, they want to become the proprietor, so that they can enjoy. Okay, and Lord Sri Krishna, being very very merciful, like an eternal parent, he is also concerned at the same time कि ठीक है, मैं enjoy करो. I mean, I have given you, you have come here to enjoy, I have given you a place to enjoy. Okay, but if you just keep enjoying here, then how will you come back to me? Okay, this is what the concern of Krishna is. Okay, so Krishna makes sure that we go back to him by doing some sense gratification, but at the same time, slowly progressing on the path of liberation. Okay, and how does that happen? We'll see. Read from the purport first. But the Vedic injunctions are so made that one can satisfy one's perverted desires and then return to Godhead, having finished his so-called enjoyment. Okay, so we can satisfy our senses, we can gratify our senses here. Okay, and at the same time, we can slowly progress on the path of liberation. How? By following the Vedic injunctions, by following the Vedic directions. Okay. Now, our desires are always perverted. What Srila Prabhupada is saying here. Okay, our desires are not straight. Okay, they are not pure. Desires are perverted. They are abominable. They are contaminated. Okay, and with those desires, we want to enjoy here. Okay, so is there a problem? There is no problem in enjoyment. Okay, I mean, after all, we wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna, and Krishna, being merciful, he created this material world for us. Okay, we have come here to enjoy, so enjoy. Okay, but then one very important point to note is that this enjoyment should be in accordance with the Shastras. Okay, it cannot be independent under any circumstances whatsoever. Okay, it cannot be whimsical. I cannot create my own way by which I can enjoy. We have to understand that. Okay. So there are certain rules and regulations which have been laid down by the Shastras, by the Vedas. If we are, abiding by those rules and regulations, if we are within, those rules and regulations, well and good, we can enjoy to our heart's content. Okay. And that will not only protect us from sinful reactions, but at the same time, they will, it will also help us to progress slowly towards the path of liberation. How? Because if we simply follow the Shastras, and live our life according to that, what will happen? Slowly and steadily, we will attain detachment. Okay, we'll get detached from the material enjoyment or the material activities, actually. Okay, and ultimately, when we quit our body, we will simply break the cycle of life and death, and we'll go back home, back to Sri Krishna, which is the ultimate goal of human life. Okay, if we don't do that, then we are simply entangling us further, further and deeper into this material world. Okay, so when we have come down here to enjoy, then now the question is, what is the hope for us? Okay, the only hope is the Vedic scriptures. Okay, which have emanated from none other than Lord Sri Krishna. This is the only hope. Otherwise, there is no other hope. Okay, so let's not be under a misconception that if the natural resources are there and if the freedom is there, so I can just enjoy in any way I desire. No, that is not the right way. Enjoyment is there. Yes, I mean, people are entitled to enjoy because they have come here in this material world to enjoy, but that enjoyment should be done as per the Vedic injunctions. Okay, we cannot whimsically create our own ways of enjoyment. Very very important point to note. Okay. And who is benefited from these Vedic scriptures? Only the people who are reading it. Okay, only the people who are hearing it. If you simply keep the Bhagavad Gita at your home, wrapped very nicely in a red cloth, and every day you just show it agarbatti, okay, while incense sticks, while performing your puja, what is the benefit that you are getting? Nothing, right? Bhagavad Gita is meant to read, actually. So until unless we read it, or until unless we hear it from a bona fide source, it's not going to give any benefit from, for us. Basically, it's not going to reap any benefits. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Vedic scriptures, and people these days actually they crib a lot about not having enough time. Okay, even if you ask 15 minutes, they will simply say that I don't get enough time here. Okay, how can I read Bhagavad Gita? How can I give my 15 minutes to read the Bhagavad Gita? In 15 minutes, I can watch 50 Instagram reels, right? This is the mindset of people today. Okay, they are busier than the Prime Minister of India, right? So this is how we portray ourselves. Okay, so it's not possible. It's very impractical to even think that a person will read all the four Vedas in this very lifetime, right? It's not possible. So we have to go to the summarized form, okay, a condensed form where which has the essence of all the Vedic scriptures, and that condensed form is the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, okay, gives us hope actually, right? That since it is the essence of all the Vedic literatures, just by perfecting this literature, okay, just by perfecting this literature, our lives will be perfect. Okay, we can break the cycle of life and death, go back home, back to Krishna. Okay, the first thing we have to do is to read it. Okay, that is the very first thing, most important thing. Or at least if we are reluctant to read, if we are not interested in reading it, then at least attend sessions like these or watch videos, which I'll be posting after some time. Okay, or from any other bona fide source, you have to hear it. Okay, and then imbibe what is given in it, and then try to implement that in our day-to-day lives. Okay, this is what we have to do. And what will happen once we start doing these things? Okay, two things will happen. Okay, one, that we will lead a very happy and peaceful life, simply unaffected by any good or bad changes that will happen around us. Okay, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says this place is a dukhalayam ashashvatam. Okay, that means this place is a place of misery. Material world is a place of misery, and it's temporary. Okay, so nothing is going to be here for like permanently, right? It is continuously changing. Ashashvatam means continuously changing. Okay, so if we are having good times, rest assured that some not so good times or difficult times will also come in our lives. And if you are going through a difficult time or a tough time, rest assured that things will change and better times are in store. Okay, so these things will be happening, changes will be there. Okay, but people who read the Bhagavad Gita, who try to implement the Bhagavad Gita in their daily lives, what happens to such people? They are simply unaffected by such changes, good change or bad change. They will be at peace. Okay, simply at peace, and they will lead a very happy and peaceful life. That is point number one. Second thing, what happens when we read the Bhagavad Gita? Second, at the end of our lives, we'll break the cycle of life, death, and birth and rebirth and go back home, back to Sri Krishna. Okay? So, isn't it beautiful? Just by reading and trying to implement this life manual, wonderful life manual, which has been given to us by none other than Lord Sri Krishna, we'll be perfecting our human lives. Right? Now, one may ask a question that, okay, I have done nonsense in my entire life. Okay, what is Vedic scriptures or what do they talk about? I don't know. Okay, and where can I find them? I don't even know that either. Okay, and neither do I have the capability to understand them. Even if someone hands me Bhagavad Gita, I will not be able to understand that. Okay, I'm simply too fallen, too much indulged in material activities. So, is there any hope for a person like me? Okay, some people may ask this, and so such questions do come to us, right? So Prabhupada gives the answer in the purport we'll read. Okay, even those who have not followed the Vedic injunctions and may adopt the principles of Krishna consciousness, even those who have not followed the Vedic injunctions may follow or adopt the principles of Krishna consciousness, and that will take place of the performance of Vedic yagyas and karma. Okay, so isn't this wonderful? Okay? Right? That simply by following the principles of Krishna consciousness, you will be performing all the sacrifices or all the karmas that have been recommended by the Vedas. Okay, why? Because the principles of Krishna consciousness are strictly based on the Vedic injunctions. Okay, so just simply follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, and automatically you will be following the Vedic injunctions. Okay, we don't know our see. The problem is that we don't know who we are, like our varna. We have no idea about our varna. We don't have any idea about our ashrama. We have seen this in the previous sessions also. right? That what work we are supposed to do, right? In this age of Kali Yuga, everything is a khichdi, everything is mixed up. Okay, something we have studied and some job we are doing, right? But we have no idea that what we are actually doing, whether it is in line with the scriptures or not. Okay, but one thing all of us can do is just simply imbibe Krishna consciousness. Okay, and that will take care of everything. Okay, just you include Krishna consciousness in your life, follow the principles of Krishna consciousness very religiously, right? And everything else will fall into place. Automatically, you will be following the Vedic injunctions. Okay. So now, question arises that how can we imbibe? What will we have to do? Just remember A, B, C, D. Okay. A, B, C, D of Krishna consciousness. What is A? Association of devotees. Okay. Always try to associate with people who are seriously following the Krishna consciousness, okay, principles of Krishna consciousness, and who are very serious about breaking this cycle of birth and death, okay, and very serious about progressing in spiritual life, okay. Such people can, one, inspire you, okay, to progress further in your spiritual life, in your Krishna consciousness. And at the same time, second, if you have some doubts or if you have any queries in your mind, these people can help you out. The senior devotees can help you out. Okay. And then, that clarity will be there in your mind. You will not be confused at any point of time. If you associate with material minded people, you will be further entangled, will pull you down into the depths of material existence. Okay. It will be very, very difficult for you to come out, of it. So yes, try to maintain a, like a minimum interaction with material minded people, okay, as much as it is necessary. Okay, don't indulge in gossip or mundane talks or anything. Just try to understand that every breath counts. Okay, like you have to find some time or utilize your time in practicing Krishna consciousness. Okay, already, like, we are bogged down by so much of other work, especially the grihasthas. Basically, they have to take care of the family, they have to go to the office. Okay, so time crunch is there, genuine time crunch is there. Okay, so in all these activities, we have to find some time for Krishna consciousness. Okay, so associate with devotees. Without association, one alone, you will not be able to make any progress in Krishna consciousness. Sooner or later, we will fall down. Maya is very, very strong. Okay, it's just not possible for anyone to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness alone and break the cycle of life and death. It's not going to happen. So association of devotees is very, very important. Okay. So this is the A. A means association of devotees. Coming to B, reading the Bhagavad Gita every day. Okay, just find some time. It may be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever time permits. Okay, how long does it take to read one sloka, its translation, and the purport? Hardly 10 minutes. How busy are we? I mean, that we are not able to find 15 minutes for Lord Sri Krishna. Okay? Just don't keep the Bhagavad Gita near your altar, nicely wrapped up in the red cloth. No, it is not meant for that. It is meant for reading, okay, and implementing that in our day to day lives. Make it a point that I'll try to find 15 minutes, okay, where the entire family will sit together, okay, and we'll read the Bhagavad Gita, maybe one sloka, two sloka, whatever time permits. Okay? So that is B. A is association of devotees. B is reading the Bhagavad Gita every day. C, chanting. Okay, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, so this chanting must continue. Okay, under any circumstances whatsoever, whether you are going through a very tough time, whether you are going through good times, chanting should never stop. Okay, and how much should we chant? Srila Prabhupada used to say minimum of 16 rounds. Okay, 16 rounds means, I'll just pull up my chanting reads if they are here. So, so this is a chanting bead. Okay, and this is called a mala, a jap mala, and this one mala is said to be one round. It has 108 beads in it. Okay, so when you chant one round or one mala, you are chanting 108 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is 108 times you chant then that is 1 round. Srila Prabhupada recommended that at least one should chant 16 rounds. Okay, it takes time, yes. I mean, you will have to give a fair amount of time to do that, maybe an hour or two. Okay, but then if you are very serious in perfecting your human life, if you are very serious in breaking the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, if you are very serious, you know, about the fact that you remain unaffected or unfazed by good or bad changes that are happening in your lives, okay, then you will have to take to the chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Try to chant a minimum of 16 rounds or whatever time permits. Okay. For initiated devotees, it is mandatory 16 rounds. Okay. So A is association of devotees, B is reading the Bhagavad Gita every day, C is chanting, D is the diet. Okay. Eat only Krishna Prasad. Now, this is a big statement that I'm making. It can be difficult, especially for Grihasthas, because they have to go to places and everywhere it's not possible. But people, again, those who are very serious, they manage somehow. Okay, every grain that we put in our mouth should be a prasadam. It should have been offered to Sri Krishna first. Okay, otherwise try to avoid that. Okay, you're not going to die if you don't eat for a few hours. Okay, come back home and try to eat at home only, whatever is prepared at home and offered to Sri Krishna. Okay, make that a point. So if we simply follow these four things, okay, we will be spiritually nourished, okay, and we'll perfect our lives and go back home, back to Krishna. Okay, there is absolutely no doubt about that. So this thing works. We have ample examples. Okay, like if you try to connect with some of the devotees at ISKCON, we can tell you that how this thing actually works. Okay, but this is a proven and time-tested formula which Prabhupada has given to us, ABCD of ISKCON. Okay, so this is how we can imbibe the principles of Krishna consciousness. By simply doing this, automatically rest assured that you will be following the Vedic injunctions. Why? Because this entire Krishna consciousness is based on strictly on the principles of Vedas. Okay. So this is what verse number 15 talks about. It has given us a kind of a flow chart which traces us back to Sri Krishna. Okay, that from where these Vedas are coming from, why the Vedas are important. Okay, what is vikarma or sinful actions. Okay, how to avoid that. All these things we have seen. What are the principles of Krishna consciousness? Why it is so important to read the Bhagavad Gita every day. Okay. So a nice discussion, nice session. I hope all of you liked it. Okay, and those who want to ask any questions, okay, please feel free to do that. Write your questions in the comment section. Okay, uh, I'll try my best to go through them and try to answer them. As I have always said, that if the question is good enough, that we feel that okay, this particular question can be in the minds of many people. Okay, then we will try to create a video out of it. And those who are eager to join our WhatsApp group, I am the part of that WhatsApp group. I can personally answer your questions there. So please try to, connect with ISKCON Whitefield or ISKCON Kannamangala. The details have been given in the description box, okay, below. Please try to get in touch and we will add you to the WhatsApp group and a more personalized interaction will be there with me. Okay. So with that, we come to the end of this session. I hope all of you liked it. I hope from next week onwards I'll be little free so that I can cover more slokas, okay, in each session. One sloka is just way too less. I at least want to cover two, okay, in each session. So yeah, let's hope that it happens. If time permits, I'll be getting some more time to prepare. Yeah. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.